1950s, two hunters, Richard and Carl, rented a remote log cabin near Hatcher's Pass, Alaska, for a week-long trip. The cabin was small, just two rooms, a wood stove, and a cellar below for storage. The locals had warned them. The cabin had a history. A prospector had once lived there, gone missing in the mountains, and never been found. Some said he'd gone mad during the winter isolation. Others whispered that his body had never been recovered because it was still there, under the cabin. The hunters laughed at the story. They were outdoorsmen, not easily spooked. To them, the cabin was just a warm shelter. The first couple of nights were quiet. They hunted during the day, returned to the cabin at dusk, lit the stove, and played cards until sleep took them. But the third night, things changed. Richard woke to the sound of something scraping, faint, muffled, like fingernails dragging against wood. He thought it was Carl moving in his sleep, but when he glanced across the room, Carl was out cold. The sound continued. A slow, steady scrape, 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 coming from beneath the floorboards. The next morning, Richard told Carl what he'd heard. They opened the trap door that led to the cellar. The air that rose from below was damp, foul, and strangely cold. They shone a flashlight inside. Nothing, just shelves and some broken jars and dirt. Still, Richard swore he heard something down there in the night. Carl brushed it off. Old cabins make noises, he said. Wood shifts, animals burrow. Don't let it get in your head. But that night, the same sound came again, louder this time. Not scraping, knocking. 3 knocks directly under Richard's bed. On the 5th night, a storm rolled in. Snow and wind howled against the cabin, the shutters banging. Around midnight, they heard footsteps on the porch, slow, deliberate, crunching against the snow. Carl grabbed his rifle, threw the door open. No one was there. But when he pointed the light at the ground, he froze. There were footprints, large, bare, human. They started at the tree line and ended at the cabin's door. No tracks leading away. By the 6th night, both men were exhausted, nerves stretched thin. They sat by the fire, rifles across their laps, waiting. And then Carl saw it. A face in the window, pale, hollow eyes staring in from the dark. He shouted, fired his gun. The glass shattered. Snow blew in, but outside, nothing. Just a storm. When they checked the snow beneath the window, there were no prints. None at all. The 7th night, Richard woke to silence. Too much silence. No wind, no storm, not even the crack of the fire. And then he realized Carl was gone. His bed was empty. The door to the cellar stood open. Richard called his name. No answer. He crept to the trap door, lantern shaking in his hand. From below came breathing, slow, wet, heavy. Carl? Richard whispered. Something shifted in the darkness. The lantern light caught a flash of skin, pale, gaunt, eyes too deep in the sun. It crawled, shadows, dragging itself across the dirt floor, lips curling to a smile that wasn't human. Richard dropped the lantern. It caught the dry wood. Last thing he saw before the cabin filled with smoke was the figure's face, sunken, stark, almost skeletal. The morning, rescuers found the cabin burned to the ground. Richard's body was recovered. Carl's was never found. Locals still say, on quiet winter's night in Hatcher's Pass, you can hear knocking, beneath the snow.